In this video, I'm going to talk about the power of having a high self-esteem. The power of having a high self-image. Sharp Game back at you with another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com, off of Boss Life Secrets, which can be found on Amazon.com. So a couple of days ago, I got this long email from a longtime listener. And he actually read my newest book, Boss Life Secrets. And he said, you stress a lot about being a high achiever, having a high self-image of yourself, having high self-esteem, seeing yourself in the best light. He said, why do you stress this so much in your book? And even in the previous videos, I talk about this a lot. Why is having such a high self-image of yourself so important? The reason why that is because how you see yourself is going to determine how far you're willing to go to achieve and do and become almost anything you want to achieve in life. That's why it's so important. Now, see, some people, unfortunately, something has to happen before they make a change, before they decide to do something that they should have done a long time ago. That's the average man and woman. But then you have other people, well, they just do it. They just make a split decision on the spot. They don't have to have all the information. They just look at it. This is what you got. How do I get started? Simple as that. You don't have to go into all the details about what it's going to take, and got to have all the details and how long it's going to take. What are the tools that I need to be successful? You don't even have to have all that stuff. I don't even have to have all that stuff. All I have to really know is what it's going to look like at the finish line. That's all I really need to know. And how much time is it going to take for me to get there? Could be short term, long term, fine. What are the tools that's going to take me to get there? And I don't have to have all the information. In some cases, I don't have to have no information. You can get started and figure it out on the way down, as some people say. Some people say jump and develop your wings on the way down. And there's no great reward without some type of risk. There's no safe parachute jump or no safe parachute ride. Most people like to be comfortable and safe, and you can't. A wise man told me years ago, you can't be rich, or you can't make a lot of money and be liked at the same time. You can't serve two masters, as some people like to say. So see, I made a decision a long time ago. Because if you have high self-esteem, if you have a high self-image of yourself, you're not really concerned about what people are saying about you, or what your woman's saying, what women are saying, what the president is saying. Yeah, you might entertain it. You might just take a little peek of what somebody's saying, or somebody might tell you what they're saying, but it's not going to really mean much to you if you have a high self image of yourself, because you know who you are and you know what you're capable of. And you've made a decision a long time ago, just as I did, that I'm going to do whatever it takes to get and achieve what I want. When I said do whatever it takes, that's exactly what it means. So if I have to sacrifice something, and I'm not talking about people either. You have to sacrifice your time, sacrifice the football game, or the Super Bowl, or the hanging out with the friends and family, and the holidays together. You know, there's no risk, there's no reward without some type of sacrifice. That's just what it is. You can't get everything all at the same time. You have to let something go to invite something new or something else in your life. See, that's the thing. A lot of people don't want to let things go. They want to keep and hold on to everything and get something else new at the same time. But it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. Even nature don't work like that. You know, that's why there's winter and fall and spring and summer. Out with the old, in with the new. In the winter time, fall and winter, the leaves fall on the ground. And springtime, they bloom. And summertime, is bright and shiny, and you know, the pollen and everything is flying all over the place. So that's nature. You know, that's just what it is. There's a method to the madness. This is scientific. You can't see, some people are trying to they're trying to beat nature. They're trying to reinvent the wheel. You know, this is, I mean, look, if you have a strong self image of yourself, you do whatever. You pay whatever. You would do whatever it takes to be successful in your field of study or your profession. You would find people that's done or doing whatever you want. You would find a way to get around smart and successful people. It doesn't matter how much it costs either. There's no such thing as it's too much. It's too high. Can't do it. There's no such thing as it's too hard. Or, you know, I can't do it because my wife or my girlfriend, you know, won't let me. There's no such thing. You know, that's all excuses. That's all that is. You know, there's no such thing as I can't lose the weight because it's hard for me to stop eating certain foods. You have to be psychotic focus. You have to have psychotic focus. You know, if you say you have a high self-image of yourself, you know what I mean? Like, there's nobody that loves me more than me. There's some people that love me, of course, but not on the level that I love myself. I love myself in a way that's undescribable. I can't even put it into words. You know, that's why sometimes some people will say they have low self-esteem and they don't like what they see when they look in the mirror. And somebody asked me a couple of days ago, hey, have you ever had like self-esteem problems, or self-image problems. You didn't think highly of yourself. And I had to think about that because I never really thought about it until somebody asked me the other day. I never really had problems with uh, what looking in the mirror and looking at myself, and I didn't like what I saw. Yeah, I never really had problems with that. I never really, even if I go back as a kid, I never really had problems with self-image. I never thought anybody was better than me. Um, and I think that has a lot that has a lot to do with how I was raised. See, my parents never taught me or never said to me that you can't do it. They always just let whatever I wanted to do, and if it was positive, they pretty much let it ride. They didn't try to stop me. You know, they really didn't. You know, didn't they just supported me. Now, what I found is a lot of kids when I was growing up, their experience was the opposite. Their parents told them they couldn't do it for whatever reason, but my parents never told me I couldn't do it. They just said, "Hey, if you like it, uh, if you like it, keep going. If it's positive, keep going. If you think you can handle it, keep going." That's who raised me. But I know most people didn't. Their parents wasn't like that. You had people that they were very negative experiences. You know, and see, one thing that's different. My parents were high achievers. My mom was everything my mom got involved with. She was like the top. She was like the best in the group. It doesn't matter what it was. It doesn't matter if it involved the church, singing in a group. It doesn't matter if it was a competition. It didn't matter what it was. She was always the best of the best. Yeah, so I grew up looking at that. So when I went out into the world and I heard and saw other people doing the opposite, I couldn't comprehend that because I didn't see that growing up. I mean, I grew up where it's like you go hard or go home. You go hard, you give it all you can. If you can't get all you can for whatever reason, don't even get involved. Don't do it if you can't give your all. That's how I was raised. And then you got a lot of guys online I see sometimes, the first sign of resistance, they just throw in the towel. They just give up. I don't understand that. They'll just find a way to stop, quit. I think a lot of guys, they just playing a role. They really don't want things to get better. They really don't want to be successful. They just want to stay comfortable doing whatever they're doing, whether it's drowning in their misery or just trying to fit in and being average and mediocre. They just want to be comfortable. But you should get used to being uncomfortable because that's where the success lies. Because, most people that they're just people pleasers. And everybody just wants to be around people that make them comfortable. And at the same time, the whole group is just mediocre and lame. Nobody's really doing anything that's that inspires anybody or motivates anybody or at least boosts each other's confidence. Nobody's really thinking outside the box in most of these groups. And then most guys don't even talk to other guys about things that really matter. They're just talking about the same conversation that most people have. They're talking about sports, football, basketball, what's on the news, the president, the job. That's mostly the conversation on average, if that. But the stuff that really makes a difference, people don't talk about it. They call those taboo subjects. So those subjects, those topics are forbidden in society. And those are the topics that you should really be talking about. But no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to talk about sex. Guys have issues with their sexuality. Women have issues with their sexuality. So everyone wants to hide and dip and dive and, do whatever they do. And they'll come back together in their nice, comfortable nest that they've built together, But it doesn't really, the relationship that they have, for the most part, is not going anywhere. See, either you're growing or you're dying. There's no neutral position. So, but see, that's what most people are doing today. It's kind of like it's a recipe for a disaster. Failure, basically. They're failing in their relationships. And in most cases, they don't even realize it. They think what they're doing, the way they're behaving towards each other, they think that it's normal. There's some women that I met many years ago. They think lying is kind of like that's the way to go, because she in her own little way, everybody's happy except for her man and the kids. And sometimes nobody's happy. The only person that's happy is her. And so she's being selfish because she's misleading her man to thinking one thing. And she thinks that he don't know what's going on, and she thinks that the kids don't know what's going on. But so she's insulting everyone's intelligence, because it doesn't matter who you are. You can be the dumb as a bunch of rocks. At some point, some guy is going to pick up on, he's going to catch up on to what you're doing. It doesn't matter how good you think you are as a woman. You can be dumb. The guy you're dealing with could be, just have an IQ of less than 100. If you really want to go there with the IQ thing. But that's a video for another day when it comes to IQ. But doesn't matter how slick you think you are. The things leak out after a while. The truth always comes out after a while. Nobody's that good. You're going to slip up. That's just what it is. When it's going to happen, who knows? But when it does happen, then you're going to, you lose all credibility, and you look like a fraud. But there's more than one way to approach relationships is there's some people. The old saying goes, "There's more than one way to skin a cat." You know, I've traveled this world. I've met people from all walks of life, and one of the main reasons why a lot of people have so many problems is because they have the wrong information. Everyone is just going along to get along, and they don't even realize. Most of the time, they don't even know if what they're doing is going to work out or not. They don't even question what they do, because a lot of this goes back to religion and culture and family, and so they don't even. It's just things that's been passed down in the family, and no one really takes the time to really think about, is this going to work for me? Is this something that I want to do? Most people don't take the time to ask that question because they don't question anything. See, if you have a high self image of yourself, you question everything. No stone is left unturned. You do whatever it takes. You find a way to make things happen, and it doesn't matter how long it takes. It's like I was willing to do whatever I had to do to have more income. I didn't want to have to settle. I didn't have when I wanted to buy something or go somewhere, I didn't want to have to say, "Hey, I can't go because I don't have enough money." I just never wanted to be like that. I never wanted to have the lack mentality. You know, if even if I don't have the money, I wanted the opportunity to at least have the possibility of coming up with the money. You know, in the past, there were times where I did not know where the money was going to come from because I didn't have the skills, I didn't have the willpower, and I didn't have enough discipline to figure it out in the past. So, as I said, something always has to happen. And I ended up in the emergency room because I was overworked, stressed. So I said from that day, this was 2003. 2003? No, 2006. This happened. I ended up in the emergency room and they didn't know what was wrong with me at the time until they started asking me questions. And they said, "Oh, you don't get enough sleep and you don't eat right." That's what it sounds like, which was true. And they took blood work and everything and still didn't know what was wrong with me until they started asking me questions. And then they figured it out. You just burned out, basically. So from that day forward, I made a decision to myself that I was going to do whatever it took to overcome my financial problems. I was going to do whatever it took. So that's why I came on the internet. This was 14 years ago. I came on the internet for the first time. 14, 15 years ago, I came on the internet for the first time. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I got started and I figured it out. And I didn't have all the information, and I was by myself. I didn't know anybody that was on the internet at the time. And back in the day, it was MySpace. It was a big deal. Yeah, MySpace and Black Planet. So I just came online, met a couple people, figured it out, went to a few conferences around the country, met some people, gathered more information, tested it out. And I kept doing that for 10 years straight. And I just kept pushing, kept getting more information, kept testing it out. And before you knew it, all these other sites started coming out. Facebook, eBay, Amazon. And I just started creating more opportunities for myself. And then I was like, hey, maybe I can, help other people out and create opportunities for myself at the same time. And that's what I did. Then it kept getting better and better and better. And then about 6 years ago, I had a big breakthrough. I had a big breakthrough. And there's more. Because there's people that's been following me since 5-6 years ago. People have been following me since I had 200 subscribers on this channel by itself. And I have other channels as well. But on this channel particularly, these people have been following me since I had 200-300 subscribers. So they see the work, the time and the effort and the commitment and the discipline that I put in, But all I did is just made a decision. And the reason why I made that decision is because I love myself that much. I care about myself that much. I was willing to outwork the work. Outwork the work. I was willing to do what people say couldn't be done. People said, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. You can't write no books. I got 3 books now in paperback. People say you can't you're not going to have no following on YouTube. I'm over 20,000 followers now. You can't do this. Then they said, hey, nobody's going to follow you on your blog. I don't know how many followers I got on my blog. Thousands of followers on both of my websites. So everything people said I couldn't do, I've done it times 10. So I've already won. I'm not even supposed to be here right now. I'm supposed to be dead by most doctor standards. And if you've been following me for a while, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, that's a video for another day. So I've already won. I've already did what was impossible to most people's standards. I've defied and beat the odds. I've crushed the status quo. And this is the power of having a high self-image of yourself. The only thing that could stop me is somebody putting a gun to my head, or Jesus Christ, or God himself. No fear. So hey, if you like this video, share this video, like, subscribe. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.